My name's Dana Hogue. I'll be your instructor during this course on agricultural policy. Now, I don't plan to use a lot of video during this course, but I thought I'd create this introductory video just so you could put a name to the face. I plan to ask you a little about yourself during the semester too. I grew up in Colorado, got my first degrees at Colorado State University in Farm and Ranch Management. I moved on to Washington State where I got a PhD, and then my first job at North Carolina State where I worked as an ag economist and a resource economist. Now, while I was at North Carolina State, I spent a year working for the Environmental Protection Agency in Washington, D.C. as an agricultural policy specialist. I now, of course, work at Colorado State University. Now, I like to specialize in applying science and economics to policy. That is, I like to understand the nuances, the science, and the economic consequences of a policy before thinking about which policies I agree with or don't agree with. I also like to think about the people involved in the policy, that is, usually the politicians. Putting all this together makes for an interesting class, and people enjoy it. However, I must stress this is an online course, and it makes it hard to enjoy this kind of class. So I'm going to ask you to try your hardest to keep up with me on the website. Try as hard as you can to keep up with weekly assignments, and when I ask you to provide information, to provide that information back to me on the web so that I and others in the class can read it. If you do that, you'll get more out of the class, and so will everybody else. Now, I've organized the class on RAMCT into folders. The first folder is on introductory information, like your syllabus and your outline and so forth. One tip on the test is to stick to your outline. Every lecture surrounds that outline. Know the outline and you'll do well on the test. The rest of the folders are devoted to the 15 weeks of the class. You're responsible to open up each folder each week and to do what's required for that week. I won't be checking up on you, but of course I will be grading anything due that week. The first thing to read in each folder is the instructions from me for that week. Those instructions will tell you what I expect in homeworks and so forth. In the rest of the folder you'll find the homeworks, you'll find readings, everything else you need to know. You'll also find Hogue notes, or a set of notes that really match the lecture closely. You'll also find a PowerPoint which will explain the lecture. In some cases you'll see two PowerPoints, a narrated and an unnarrated. When you see a narrated PowerPoint, it's the exact same information as the other PowerPoint, except it's narrated by me to make it a little easier to understand. Not everybody will like the narrated version better, so feel free to choose which one you want to look at or listen to in that event. Now, I'm going to ask you during the semester to also to do some tests. That isn't on RAMCT quite yet. When you do those tests, I'm going to provide you information about how I'm going to get the test to you and how you're going to get the test back to me, but we'll save that for a later date. Well, that's all I really have to say now. Oh, except one more thing. I want you to feel free to contact me if you're ever having trouble with the information. Please start with email by contacting me by email with a specific question. I'll try my best to answer by email. If the question can't be answered by email and you feel you need to talk to me, then email me for an appointment and we'll talk by phone. I want you to succeed in this class and I'll do everything I can to help you. So, with that, I'll say goodbye and good luck in the class. Goodbye.